Hello everybody, thank you for joining the channel. My name is Daniel. I'm with Anderson Gutter and Tree Service, and today we're making a splash guard. As you can see, I've already scribed out some templates here and I'm going to cut them out, and while we're doing that, explain what a splash guard is. A splash guard is something that we put on top of the gutters that is attached with screws to prevent water in the valleys from overshooting the gutters, because right there in the valleys is where all that water collects and builds up the most speed. And what can happen is it'll overshoot the gutter. It will cause your foundation to develop possibly cracks. It can also rot out any wood joists down there. It can cause splash up and allow algae to build up on the side of the building, and it can also allow water to come down that miter there and make it look like it's leaking, allow algae growth there, and just make the house look really kind of dingy there. So we want to prevent all that, and the way we do it is we make a splash guard. So here I'm bending the bottom of the splash guard down, that way we can secure it to the top of the gutter lip, and then we're going to bend it down one more time. That way we can make sure that we seal that gap between the gutter and the splash guard here. We don't want any water getting in between the gutter and the splash guard, otherwise it's kind of pointless. And remember, we're going to have water shooting directly at it. So we make the bend down and we get it all nice and squared away as much as possible. This is a 19-inch splash guard. I have a 18-inch metal bender here, hand tool, that I like to use. Sometimes you just got to put your boot down on them to get that second bend in, but just give it a little power, it'll be all right. We'll clean up the edges here, make them nice and clean. Depending on whether you're making a inside splash guard, an outside splash guard, or just a straight splash guard to put on your gutters, you want to make sure that you get all your edges clean, because remember, water surface tension will allow water to adhere to a surface until it breaks. So here we're going to make a inside one. We'll clean up the edges, bend them on the inside to where the face is facing towards themselves, and then we also want to create something to kind of flush up that gap in the back. You know, whenever you bend them on the inside, it kind of opens up, the spreads apart. So we'll create a little piece of metal just to put over that, and we'll screw that in place and then bend it down. And I'll show you here later in another video, whenever we're installing them, just exactly how that's done. That video won't be sped up, so I hope that. Alright, so here we're going to put on a straight splash guard. You see where we're coming down the valley, and there's a gutter there. Now typically this valley wouldn't be deep enough to really get up too much speed, but just because it doesn't seem like it doesn't mean it's not possible. So just to add to the whole service of the building, we're going to go ahead and add a splash guard here. This one would be straight. I'm going to secure it in 4 different spots. Later on, I'll come back with some silicone and seal in around them screws. Also, I'll put a glob at the ends of them just to make sure that the water falls back into the gutter and not resting inside of that splash guard or going around it. So here we have a inside splash guard that we're going to install, and as you see, it's just placed right in there. We'll put one screw on the outside here after we make sure we line up either side. Go ahead and secure that down. Go to the other side, secure it in there. Also, we'll come back with some spray paint. We'll clean up that face, make it all nice and white, make it match the gutter. It'll look pretty seamless. So here you see we're also going to add in that piece that I made just on that edge there, and we'll add a screw on either side, bend down that tab so that it's nice and flush, and we have a sealed corner. There is no water coming down that valley.